you know that Sam Raimi's brother plays Henrietta in Evil Dead 2? That's what we're going to be talking about today. Evil Dead 2. Let's just get straight into it. The film starts in darkness, with the Book of the Dead coming towards us before Ash has even entered the story. Evil Dead 2 doesn't begin with the normal cabin setup, it begins with the source of evil. The book looks diseased, like something that should have been buried and left alone years ago. The face on the cover gives it a horrible presence, as if the book is actually watching you. This opening gives the film bigger scale than the first Evil Dead. The first film was rawer and nastier. Evil Dead 2 feels more confident from the beginning. Raimi seems to know exactly what this world is now, and he pushes it further without losing the threat underneath. Then Ash and Linda arrive at the cabin. The opening has always felt a bit strange to me, because if you've seen Evil Dead 1, you'll know that the beginning of Evil Dead 2 is a bit of a remake of Evil Dead 1. And there's a practical reason for that. Raimi couldn't get the rights to Evil Dead 1, so he made a little bit of a remake as a reminder, and then off we go. Linda gives the early section its human feel. The dancing, the necklace, the quiet closeness between them. It gives Ash something real. Without Linda, Ash is a man trapped in a cabin. With her, the evil has something personal to use against him. Then Ash finds the tape recorder and the Book of the Dead. Once Nobby's voice comes through that machine, the cabin doesn't feel empty anymore. The past has entered the room. The book is no longer a strange object left behind in the cabin. It has history now, and that history has already destroyed people before Ash and Linda ever arrived. Then the words play. The evil wakes up again. The film doesn't need a monster standing in the doorway, it gives us that violent rush through the trees, and that is enough. The camera has become the threat. Something is moving towards the cabin, and it feels like the woods have started thinking for themselves. Those rushing shots still give the film so much power. They make the outside world feel alive. The trees feel full of eyes. Even when nothing's visible, the film still makes you feel watched. That adds constant pressure to the pacing, because the danger never seems still. Then, Linda is taken. The horror becomes personal very quick. Ash has to face the person he loves, but she isn't really there anymore. The evil is using her face. That makes it crueler than any normal creature attack. It understands what will hurt him, then pushes that directly into that wound. Ash kills Linda and buries her. That should be the end of it, but Evil Dead 2 doesn't let grief stay buried. The Deadites don't behave like things that simply want people dead. They want people worn down first. They enjoy the torment. Linda's death becomes another weapon, and Ash is forced to keep facing it. Then the evil force comes for him. It smashes through the cabin, grabs hold of Ash and throws him through the woods. For a short time, he's possessed too. He isn't the hero yet. He's a man being dragged through something much bigger than him. Daylight saves him. Ash hasn't defeated evil here yet. Morning's interrupted it. The danger hasn't gone, it's only backed off until nighttime returns. So Ash tries to leave and then he finds the bridge destroyed. That's one of the cleanest horror turns in the film. The last normal answer has disappeared. He can't drive away. He can't pretend it's over. The world has shrunk down to the cabin, the woods, and the next sunset. So he has no choice but to go back. It sounds mad, but the film makes it feel logical. The cabin's dangerous, but the woods are worse. Ash doesn't get good choices, he gets bad choices, but he picks the best one out of the two. He thinks the cabin is going to keep him alive the longest. Back at the cabin, Linda returns. This is where the film starts to feel like Ash's mind is under attack as much as his body. Linda's head, her body, and her voice keep dragging him back to what he's lost. The evil knows where to push. It forces him to face the pain again. Then Linda's head bites his hand. The threat starts moving inward. The evil isn't only in the woods now. It isn't only in the cabin, it's inside him. Ash destroys Linda in the workshed, and beneath the madness, this scene is grim. He has to lose her twice. You can see why his mind starts to crack after that. This isn't your clean hero story. Ash is being bashed into the shape of one. When he gets back inside, the mirror scene makes that clear. Ash looks at himself, and his reflection turns against him. It's simple, but it goes right to the centre of the film. The cabin has become a version of his own head. Everything around him throws his fear back at him. The evil outside and the collapse inside have started to merge. Then, his hand turns against him. For me, Bruce Campbell is the reason that scene lands so well. He commits to it completely. He makes the hand feel separate, like a separate entity with its own will. His physical performance becomes part of the story. Every impact feels earned. Every moment shows how much punishment Ash is taking. That physicality is one of the reasons Evil Dead 2 still stands out. Campbell isn't gliding through the film like a ready-made hero. He's being thrown through it. The film batters him, and he keeps moving. When Ash cuts off his own hand, it doesn't feel heroically clean. It feels desperate. The evil has crossed into his body, and his only option is to cut that part off. This is where the inner demon reading comes through for me. Evil Dead 2 turns mental pressure into something physical. Panic moves through the woods. Grief comes back, wearing Linda's face. Fear speaks through the mirror. Then the evil takes control of Ash's hand. After that, the cabin starts laughing. That scene could fall apart easy, but it holds together because Ash has got nothing left. The room joins in around him, and eventually he laughs too. It doesn't feel like relief, it feels like someone being pushed past normal human response. Then Annie and Ed arrive at the broken bridge and meet Jake and Bobby Joe. Their arrival changes the rhythm at the right time. Ash has carried the nightmare almost alone, so the film brings in people who don't understand what they're walking into. They enter the story late, and that's the point. They see the aftermath without seeing the nightmare that created it. When they reach the cabin, Ash looks like the danger. From their point of view, that makes perfect sense. He's covered in blood, armed, unstable, surrounded by evidence that something awful's happened. But for us, he's the closest thing to a witness, but they see a killer. So, they lock him in the cellar. That turn gives the film a nasty kick because Ash knows enough to fear the cabin by now. Then, Nobby's tape reveals Henrietta is buried down there, and the cellar stops being background. It becomes the place where the old mistake has been buried. Henrietta's reveal makes the cabin feel rotten from underneath. Nobby brought the evil into the world, then tried to contain what it did under the floor. Ash is trapped inside the result of someone else's arrogance, and he doesn't even have time to understand it. Then, Ed is possessed. The room learns what Ash already knows. There are no clean choices with Deadites. If you wait, someone dies. If you act, you look monstrous. Ash killing Ed is brutal, but by this point he understands that evil doesn't leave people intact. Bobby Joe runs into the woods. The cabin is unbearable, but outside isn't freedom. Raimi has already taught us that the trees are mean. When she runs, the woods don't open up, they close in. Then Jake panics. His fear makes sense, but it still makes everything worse. When the pages end up in the cellar, the one possible way out is pushed behind another threat. That's how the film keeps tightening. Every answer gets moved somewhere more dangerous, and then Ash becomes possessed outside again. This time hits even harder, because we've watched evil grind him down all night. It's used his grief, pain, fear and isolation until there's almost nothing left to resist it. Then Linda's necklace brings him back. The evil has spent the whole film using Linda against him. Now her memory saves him. It gives Ash enough of himself back to keep fighting. Then the transformation happens. The chainsaw and shotgun hasn't turned Ash into someone else. They've just shown what the night has forced him to become. And by now, survival's turned him into something stronger and a bit stranger. The famous line's so good because the film's earned it. Ash has lost Linda, lost his hand, been possessed, been blamed, been locked away, and watched reality collapse around him. When he finally arms himself, it doesn't feel like a costume change. It feels like the character catching up with the legend the opening promised. He still doesn't feel like your archetypal hero. That's what makes him interesting. He feels like a man making it up as he goes. But now he has enough nerve to step forward. The final stretch pulls everything back to the cellar. Ash goes down for the pages, and the fight with Henrietta connects the cabin nightmare to the bigger mythology. The effects here show their age more than the earlier scenes, but I'd rather still have this than something more polished with no weight. These effects have texture. They belong to the same rough world as the cabin. Annie reads the incantation, and the evil outside begins to take form. Then Ash's hand comes back at the worst possible time and stabs her. I like that detail because the film refuses to leave anything finished. Even the part Ash has cut away returns to cause damage. Annie still completes the words. The portal opens, the evil is pulled in, the car goes with it, Ash goes too. Then he lands in the medieval past. The opening legend suddenly becomes clear. The hero from the sky was Ash all along. The film turns him into a myth, and it does it in the cruelest possible way. He survives the cabin, but gets rewarded with another impossible situation. The Knights think he's a demon. A real Deadite appears, Ash raises the shotgun and kills it in front of them. In that moment, he becomes the hero they've been waiting for. But his face says everything. For most horror heroes, surviving the night would be the end. But for Ash, the night has only moved somewhere else.